Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I am Michael Castor. I'm a product manager here at Yaskawa Motoman, and I am here at an undisclosed location at 100 Automation Way in Miamisburg, Ohio, with the brand new HC20XP. So we're very excited about this robot. This is the first IP67 rated cobot that we know of. It has 1.7 meters of reach, so out and up. So it enables us to reach 2 full pallets using 1 riser. So from one location, we have full reach of 2 full pallets. So very exciting. So for simple palletizing applications, this is a really good choice. IP67 rated, like I mentioned. So you can do spray down or wipe down. So if the robot gets dirty, you can literally hose it down. Also for machine tending applications, this is going to be very well suited for it because coolant really won't have any effect on it. It also has 0.05 millimeters of repeatability. So if you program a point, have it go back to that point, it'll get there within 0.05 millimeters. So a very accurate robot. It also has food grade grease throughout. So in areas where incidental ingestion may occur, this is a very good solution for it. So for consumer packaged goods, also for packaged foods, very good for that too. Additionally, as far as features go, we have a piece of shielded Cat6 cable that runs from the base of the arm clear out here to the flange. So that means you can get Ethernet IP clear to your tool. So for more, it gives you more options for more advanced tools. Very excited about that. And it's also pre-wired for a servo gripper, which means you have plenty of conductors coming up through the arm, as well as beefy power conductors. So you can power those tools with an integrated compressor, just like this on-robot VG10 we have mounted to it right now. This gripper is not active currently. It's just there for show, but we could hook it up and just use the onboard conductors, so you don't have to run anything external. And with a gripper like this, you don't have to use any external airlines either. So a very good compact package all through the arm, so it's very clean. As far as safety goes, just like the HC10, we have dual torque sensors in every axis. And these are constantly being monitored for any collisions. So in the event of a collision, the robot will shut down, and we'll show that in a bit. This little amber light will come on the side, pausing the robot, making sure everything's all clear. You hit that button, and then the robot goes back to work as usual. So as far as safety is concerned as well, it is TUV certified to 13849-1. It's also PFL certified, so ISO 10218-1, and it's compliant with ISO TS 15066. So this the HC20 is available on both our YRC1000 and YRC1000 microcontrollers. The ones we have in stock currently are on the YRC1000 micro, but we have more coming in that are for the YRC1000. So when you need all those extra I/O connections, and for your more advanced uses, the YRC1000 be a good choice. For most things, though, you can use a YRC1000 micro and be totally fine. So like our HC10, we have these integrated teach buttons on the side here. And these allow you to move the robot, and I'll show you that now. So I'll go ahead and move it, maybe. Make sure it's in the right mode here. And turn the speed up. My servos were off. That's the problem. Okay. So you can go ahead and move it around. You can see very little effort required to do that. We can do up, down, left, right. We can rotate the tool. So for quick and easy jobs, you can just use the hand guiding. We also have the teach button on the side here. So while we move it, we can use this teach button and teach the locations in space to be played back later. So you can do this all without touching the pendant. The pendant's all the way over there. So I can actually program it from here just by hitting this button. We also have a tool button on the side here, and this will toggle our tool on and off. So a short press will toggle the tool on, and another short press will toggle it off. And then a long press will put that command into the program that I'm writing. So you can do everything right from here. So for quick and easy jobs, it's a very good solution. All right, so as for hand guiding, works very well on this robot. It's Since it's a large robot, it takes a little bit of force, but it's really not too bad. You can see that I'm doing everything with one hand, which is kind of hard to do with a microphone. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to show you the collaborative mode. So you can see this light is on the top here, and that indicates that we are in collaborative mode. So this is safe right now. And we do have a safety scanner hooked up to it. So this is a key and sensor, and we have a safety zone set up. So if I step out of it, you'll see that light goes off. The robot's now in industrial mode, and I'll demonstrate this in a job shortly. And when I move back in, the robot goes back into the safe collaborative mode. So let me go ahead and put a job on here. And I created this earlier. Hopefully it's not too bad. So we're not actually going to pick the box, but we'll just act like it. I'm going to go ahead and put it into play mode here. First, I'll forward it to the start position. All right, so we'll go into automatic mode, turn our servos back on, and go ahead and play that. Yes, the robot is going slower because I am in collaborative mode right now. We'll move our box over just slightly. So I can interact with the robot right now. It's also very smooth. So this is a gloss finish. And there's also no pinch points on this, just like our HC10. So it was designed for you to be used, in close proximity to people. So here, it's acting like it's picking the box, but let's say I tilt this up on edge here. So it's not going to expect that. So we'll see what happens when it comes back. All right, so you probably can't see it from the camera angle, but there's an amber light on the top. And this tells us that it did encounter an obstacle or a force that it didn't expect. So it stopped, and it also pulled back. So you can tell it was right down on top of the box. And if you watched closely, you would see it lift up about an inch. So this allows you to remove the object, get it out of the way, or if that was your hand or something, you could then pull your hand away so it can't clamp you. So once everything is okay, we can go ahead and hit this button, and it will resume operation right where it left off. So go ahead and put that back. And like I said, we do have this safety scanner hooked up. So in collaborative mode, you're speed limited. So you can only go about 250 millimeters a second max. It might have to be slower depending on your risk assessment and what it's actually doing, which is great because the robot's still operating with you there. But as far as productivity goes, it's going very slow. So if you are trying to meet a rate or you need to keep up with an assembly line or something, this is not going to be ideal for all-day operation. So what we can do is I can move this box out of the way too. We'll get everything out of the way here, and it will go ahead and go into industrial mode. I get the box all the way out. There we go. So right now we're operating at, I don't think it's quite full speed because we don't have the robot bolted down, but it is going at a much faster rate, about 3 or 4 times faster than it was before. So as far as meeting your rate requirements, this is very good for that. And while I step in, that light comes back on. We are now in collaborative mode again. So I can interact with the robot, be beside it. If it impacts me, the robot stops, hit the button, and starts out again. So if you have any questions, we're going to hold those to the end of the show. I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning. But since I'm doing this live, it's kind of hard for me to hear and give this. So just hold those to the end and we'll get to them. All right. So now I have another job that we can show just to show you the extents to the robot. Let me go ahead and switch it over. Get out of the way here. It'll go a little bit faster. All right. So I have it doing a little dance here just to give you an idea of the range of this robot. This is not a small robot. It's pretty big. So it enables you to do a lot of jobs that previously you could only do with an industrial robot. So again, since we do have this laser scanner hooked up, I can approach it. It slows down, goes back into collaborative mode. So I can again interact with it. If it runs into me, it'll stop. I hit the button, clear it. Then when I back out, it'll speed back up. All right. So that's kind of all the examples that I have for you right now. You'll notice that I am using the standard pendant. So the robot right now is available only with the standard pendant, but towards the end of the summer, this will be released on our smart pendant, which has smart frame. And for new users, it's a really good solution. But for right now, we have it on the standard pendant, works great on it. So now we do have some time for questions. If you have any specific questions about the HC20, I'm happy to try to answer those. If I don't know the answers, there's a guy here that is very knowledgeable on it, so I can use him as a technical consultant or just throw the microphone at him and let him go. But feel free to ask any questions, and I will address those as possible. Hang on just a second, Greg. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take them in the order that they were received. So the MSRP for each controller option, that would be quoted through our sales team. I don't have access to that at the moment, but we're happy to give you quotes on the robot. It is very competitive for its size. So we do believe it's very well priced in the market. The maximum speed in industrial mode is 1,000 millimeters per second. So yeah, it can go full industrial speeds. And then usually in collaborative mode, it's about 250 millimeters per second. So will the light indication be available in the HC10 as well? It is. So it has the same indicator light on the top to indicate whether it's in collaborative mode or not. And it also has the same amber button on top. This is largely considered an upscaled version of the HC10 DT. Just bigger. It's a bit different geometry and a smoother design and bigger robot overall. But operation is going to be very similar to the HC10. So if you're familiar with that robot, you'll be familiar with the HC20. So it depends on how, so the question is, does the robot maintain vacuum if a stop occurs? So that can all be set up through the safety logic editor. You can have the vacuum stay applied in the event that the robot stops, or you can have it let go, depending on what the robot's doing at the time. That all comes down to how safe it's going to be. So if the robot doesn't have anything in its hand, then you can go ahead and shut it off and it will make a difference. But if it needs to stay on as to not drop something, then you can have it stay on when an emergency occurs. The major advantage, what is our major advantage over UR cobots? So with the HC20, we have a range advantage. So we have 1.7 meters of reach, and I believe the UR is 1,300 millimeters at their biggest. And then we also have 20 kilograms of payload, and that's at full extension too, where you are, I believe they max out now at 16 kilograms. So as far as our reach and payload advantage, we have both on here. Plus it's also IP67. So you can take a garden hose literally and spray this thing down and it will be fine. whereas I don't think I'd want to try that on a UR without some kind of jacket. The HC20XP, so that is also forthcoming, and that we are anticipating an XP version, so an IP67 version of the HC10 coming down the pipeline relatively soon. So I would expect that probably more towards the fall time frame, depending. So the question is, what programming language does it use? So like all Yaskawa robots, we use a programming language called Inform. Inform is kind of our structure or our language for all the moves with a robot. So moves, speeds, all the math. It's kind of just its own flavor. It's actually pretty easy to use. And depending on the pendant you're using, it's like the smart pendant, it's very easy to navigate. And also with the smart pendant, it explains what everything does. So it's very easy to figure out and use. We do have online training classes. You can learn more about it, Inform. And you can also take robot classes here in Miamisburg at our top secret location. It's not top secret at all, obviously. But here in Miamisburg, Ohio, at our US headquarters of Yaskawa, we do have a full training lab, and you can take classes here as well. Type of finish on the robot. Is it paint, epoxy, or powder? So this is a gloss urethane finish. So it's very nice. It's very durable also. Yeah, I wouldn't go using it for super harsh chemicals, but for most things, it's going to be more than adequate. It's also, since it's very glossy, it can be wiped down, so it's very easy to keep clean. And yeah, it's a great looking finish. I'm not sure how well it comes through on the camera that we're using, but it has a very nice gloss to it, a very nice sheen, very good looking robot. Okay, we got a couple more questions. Okay, so we got two questions. So one, is there a smaller version of this robot? And the answer to that is yes. We do have our HC10 robot that we've had out for a couple years now. So we have the HC10 DT variant, which is going to be the smaller version of this. We also mentioned the HC20XP, which will be the IP67 rated version of this robot, of the HC10 rather, and that will be coming later on. And yeah, we do have the HC10 available right now. So the other question is it suitable for machine tending? So yes, absolutely. So the robot is, like I mentioned, IP67 rated. So coolant, it's not going to make a difference. You're totally fine there. The HC10, though, for machine tending applications, if there's no direct touch on coolant, you're fine. But for coolant use, you may either want to consider a jacket for the HC10, the HC20, or the HC20XP when that comes along. I think Greg's going to go ahead and fix it. I stopped when it was skewed, so it looks a little bit goofy. So Greg's going to touch that up for me. So what applications are these robots typically used for? So a collaborative robot can be used for all sorts of different applications. So things like assembly, you can do like pick and pack, pick and place. So if you're putting something on a conveyor belt, or packaging, so it's picking something off a conveyor or off maybe a machine center and putting it somewhere else, you can do that. Machine tending, all sorts of different applications. So the one thing that we can't do with this currently is welding. We are working on that. I don't want to talk too much about it, but so material handling, it'll do most material handling tasks without a problem. And also for basic palletizing applications, this is a good solution as well. Okay. So the payloads, and we're getting a lot of questions on the payloads. 20 kilograms is the payload on this. It's 10 kilograms on our HC10. And 20 kilograms, you subtract your tool weight from that. So if my tool weighs like 2 kilograms, then it's going to be 18 kilograms that I can pick up with it. So that's how we rate all our robots. So clear from the GP8, which is an 8 kilogram robot, clear on up to the MH900, which is a 900 kilogram robot. So that could lift up several of these without any hassle. So another question is conveyor tracking available? So we are working on that. It is not available currently, but should be in the near future. What was that? So we got
detection, the human contact detection work with
an
offset into the part of the
okay. So the question is, will the collision detection or the safety detection work with on tooling with a very long offset? So that I believe that can be set up in your safety logic editor. So it'll detect over a certain threshold. And then yes, it will be able to detect if there's a force that wasn't accounted for that would occur in a certain area, and the robot would stop and wait for the all clear signal again. Of course, with a tool that size and with that big of an offset, you would need to do a full risk assessment to make sure that it's safe for people to operate in that area. But if your risk assessment warranted it, yeah, it could be set up. Okay, so ease of programming and typical requirements to get operators up to speed. So like I mentioned, this is not available yet on our Smart Pendant. We are going to have it available, like I said, late summer, early fall timeframe. When it is available on the Smart Pendant, we have online training classes, and we can put a link up in the chat, and you can check out our free online training classes. You can sign up, and you get a virtual version of the Smart Pendant you can play with and also move around one of our HC robots. So you can learn a lot about it through that. With our standard pendant, though, we offer week-long training classes here at our headquarters in Miamisburg, Ohio. So you can come here, join us for a week of hands-on training. We have a wonderful training lab. I think we have 70 or 90, I forget the exact number of robots dedicated to training. So you can take basic programming classes up to advanced programming classes. And we offer those all right here. And then we have various facilities throughout as well. So if you're in Canada, we have a training center there, and Mexico too. So we can definitely train you on how to use one of our robots. So what is the main distance from the scanner that somebody can be before it goes into collaborative mode? So right now we have it set up to where it's about this line that I don't know if you can see it or not in the camera view, but it's going to be about right here. So you can tell it's switching back and forth. And this is all set up according to your risk assessment. So when you do a risk assessment, you have to take into account not only the robot and if it's collaborative, but also your tool and also what you're moving around to determine where your safety zones will be and when a human can come in. So if I have this robot going in a large sweep, I'm obviously going to need more space. So that would be set up more. And also if the robot, take into account the stop time or the slowdown time too. So maybe it might be 20 feet, it might be like 6 feet. It just comes out in your safety assessment. But that can all be set up on the laser scanner. So there's a program on your computer, and you can kind of look at the view of the safety scanner. So right now we have a pole over here, and we blocked out that pole. So it knows the pole's there, it knows that's safe, and it's not somebody encroaching on its space. And also the surrounding curtain, we have that all set up. So that's all set up in with your safety sensor, or your laser scanner, rather. And there's a variety of companies to make these. We're using a Keyence one here. SICK makes one, and I believe there's several other out there. Pills, I think, makes some. So there are a wide variety of laser scanners with all sorts of different features on them that you can check out. Explosion-proof option for painting. So not currently, no, not with a collaborative arm. We do have a paint robot right behind us over here, though. And you do have to, there are a large number of considerations that have to be made when doing painting. So you actually have to purge the robot, make sure all the air is out of it for those environments. So probably not going to be a collaborative part either. So yeah, not currently. So the question is, Motoman is very well known for welding applications. Do you have programs and options for that? Yes, we do. We, of course, sell a large number of welding robots. We have a wide variety of robots. So welding, material handling, paint robots, so a whole variety. We are well known for welding, though, and we do have classes where we can teach you how to use a robot for welding, and those are also available on our website, where you can sign up and pick your classes, and then you come here for training or one of our training centers. So yes, we can train you to do robotic welding too. Okay. So the question is, can you reiterate on food grade grease and what the maintenance schedules are? So yes, we do have food grade grease in there. This is NSF H1 certified food grade grease. So for areas where incidental ingestion may occur. So I think I said before, if you're doing consumer packaged goods, maybe you're packaging children's toys into larger boxes, yeah, it gets a little bit of it on there. It's not going to hurt anybody. Also, if you're doing packaged food, direct food I wouldn't do, but for packaged foods, you're going to be okay. And then also, what is the maintenance schedule? So I haven't looked at the maintenance schedule on this one, but on most of them, it's about 3 years of service or so before it needs any kind of major maintenance. So you can go quite a long time before you need to do anything. But that's all in the maintenance documentation. It does go a surprisingly long time. The robots in general go a long time before they need any kind of grease changes or service. Yeah. So the question is the FSU included in the controller as part of the package? And yes, it is. That is part of what enables our collaborative mode. So our collaborative aspect of a collaborative robot. So yes, it is included with with our HC20XP and also our HC10 DT, and will be included with the HC10XP when that comes along. So can the robot be shelf, wall, or gantry mounted? Yeah. Yes, it can. And I believe, I haven't checked the specs on this one, but I believe it can also be ceiling mounted, which would be pretty cool to see too. Are there any issues with collaborative stops due to wobble in the system? Yeah, if you have wobbling, you probably need to re-examine how you have the robot mounted. So the robot should be very secure before you go moving it, because that could lead to other issues besides interrupting the collaborative aspect. If it's shaking around a lot, your points are going to be off. Everything's going to get very strange. So if you have wobbling, I would stop everything and have it re-engineered or have somebody look at it to figure out what's going on there. So how do we differentiate between insertion force in, what was it? Sorry. Oh. So how do we differentiate between insertion force versus collaborative collision? It would depend on how you're doing it and where it is in the job. So the main thing is you have to make sure that the robot starts pushing in an area where nobody's fingers can get in place. So it'd have to come down and make sure everything's all clear before it could be allowed that higher force threshold to push. And this would all come out in your risk assessment. You may have to have a certain area where people can't get into. So you can't get your fingers down in accidentally before it could start pushing. But that can all be set up in the safety logic editor too, I believe. And I'm sure Greg will look up here if I'm saying anything wrong. Okay, so the question is the IP protection rating of the arm earlier. So the whole robot is IP67 rated. The tool, you have to make sure your tool is as well. We don't make the tools, we just make the robot arm. So everything up to this tool flange, clear on back to the base, is IP67 rated. So yeah, you can spray it down, you can wipe it down, you're totally fine. Are the collaborative force thresholds user adjustable? Yes, they are. So that can all be adjusted. There is a table that the RIA puts out of thresholds for the human body. So depending on where it is in its job, it will need to be set for different thresholds. So yes, that's all editable by the user and is part of your risk assessment. Okay, so several questions. So one, does it use on-robot grippers? And the answer is yes. We have one mounted here. This is a little flange adapter that we made, the black part here. So we have it bolted on with that. On-robot is working on an adapter. So their whole line of tools will be available for the HC20XP. The other one is, can we use Ethernet IP? And yes, absolutely. So that is integrated into the controller, so you can hook up an Ethernet IP gripper to the end of it. It'll talk to the on-robot grippers or any other Ethernet IP device. And the other one is, how many IOs does the gripper take up? It depends on the gripper. I'm not sure how many this one takes up offhand. So discrete on the robot, we have 5 IOs on it, and the YRC1000 Micro has 8, but we're using 3 on those direct teaching buttons. So you have 5. And also we have the Ethernet IP available, and I believe there's over 1,000 IOs available through that, so that you have access to. So since I was there, I don't think it liked the fact that it was still in collaborative mode and it went through that. So we'll fix that. Okay. So is hand-guided programming available on the HC20? Yes, absolutely. So we do have those direct teaching buttons up at the top here. And Greg, you might want to change jobs on it. But yeah, we do have those direct teaching buttons. So that allows you to move and position the robot wherever you want it. There's the teach button, so you can log your points in space. So it'll go back and play those back when you put it into play mode on your program. And then we also have a tool button on there, and that will toggle your tool on and off while you're teaching it. And also put the code for toggling your tool on and off in your program. CSA approved. That I will have to look up to see if we have a CSA approved version. We'll have to get back to you on that one. Okay. So the question is a safety fence required for industrial mode, or does the FSU take care of it? And really that would all come out in your risk assessment, whether or not you need a safety fence. So it's a common misconception that people think if they have a collaborative robot, their entire application becomes collaborative. Because if this robot is handling something big and heavy and sharp on it, then we might have a problem. Because it doesn't matter if the robot's collaborative or not. If it hits you in the shins of a piece of sheet metal or something sharp, it's going to be very, very bad. So let me go ahead and hit this for him. All right. Also, if it's handling something like knife blanks or anything, it could be very bad too. So in certain applications, you may need a safety fence, but for just general packaging, for things that are more benign, not sharp, and pass your risk assessment, you need to operate in industrial mode, you do need to have some kind of sensor, whether it's a light sensor on here, a light scanner, or laser scanner rather, or a light curtain, which you could also do. Light curtains are more binary, or they could be staged as well. So that would detect if I enter in a zone, it would put the robot into into collaborative mode. Depending too on where your robot is in the job, you might need a secondary safety or a secondary light sensor, which shuts the robot down completely. Just depends on what you're doing and what your risk assessment says you need. Yeah, so the question is the FSU available for GP series robots? Yes, absolutely. So we have our FSU technology available with all of our GP series robots. So that's not going to enable collaborative mode. So it's only our HC series robots, and the HC stands for human collaborative. So those are going to be what enables collaborative. Well, I'm sorry, the two parts on the two modes of collaboration which is hand guiding, and also the power force limiting. So those modes are only available on the HC series of robots. On the GPS, you can use FSU and do the other two modes of collaboration, which is stop state monitoring and speed and separation monitoring. So using those, yeah. So short answer is yes, FSU technology is available on all of our GP series robots. So last question is about power requirements. So the HC20 uses 3-phase 220 power. So this is, it does use 3-phase. It is since it's a larger robot, it does require more power. I forget the kilovolt rating. It's written down on the data sheet that I have. I think it's 1.5 kVA. So it does take a bit of power to move it around because it is very large. So our HC10 can be powered from single phase 220, and you can also get that with a step-up transformer. So you can plug it into a 110 volt outlet. The transformer will step it up so you can power an HC10 through 110 voltage with the transformer, but not the HC20. You do need 3-phase 220 volts AC for that. And I believe the YRC version is 380 volts AC, but we have transformers available. But that's going to be more industrial voltage on the on the YRC 1000 version. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I guess we did receive an answer on the CSA rating on the robot. So there is available a version with the CSA kit installed. So we can get you that through Yaskawa Canada. So yes, it is available. We can do it. So yeah, you can contact your Yaskawa representative in Canada, and we can get you all set up. All right. We have any more questions? Feel free to ask. Seems like we're getting to most of them, which is good. Okay, looks like we got through everything. If you have any additional questions, we got a few more seconds, you can get them in, or if not, you can feel free to email us and we will take them as they come and answer them as best we can. But thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of our brand new HC20XP robot. We're really excited about this one and excited to get it out there and working for you. Yeah, my name is Michael Castor, Yaskawa Motoman, and thank you, and have a great rest of your day.